Welcome to Off the Record. This is Mashano again, and thank you for joining us. As you know, Off the Record is where we take a step back behind the titles, behind the brands, behind the official desks, and really step behind and try and find out who is the person behind that name. So today we're very, very fortunate to have here an Ndola citizen, I like to think. His name is Mr. Kango. And Mr. Kango is not just a professional businessman in Ndola who's had a prominent influence here, but I've really had the personal pleasure of talking to him off the record, and really looking forward to hearing some insights, because from what I know, he's really been a prevalent force in the Ndola space. Not only is Mr. Wilson Kango a businessman here, but he's also campaigning on the platform to center things around accountability, service delivery, and economic growth for our local city. So I'm very, very excited to have him here. So Mr. Kango, thank you very, very much for being on the show. I
actually very feel privileged to be here. Yeah, I'm happy to be here. It's a very nice setup, very beautiful studio. I have been sitting for some time here and busy looking around.
Yeah.
It's something relatable being in the field.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I do understand, and not a soft promotion, but you do have a great studio. I've visited personally as well, not far from here, in Ndola, and really inspiring space. So I know you know exactly what the setup is like, and for the audience watching, it's nice to get a compliment from someone in the industry. So thank you for that.
Trust me, you guys have really outdone yourself. It's a beautiful setup here. The equipment is beyond, I'm sure. When you lose a camera here, you know where to find it.
You feel it. That's good to know. Well, we'll tag little GPSs on them as well.
You better do so.
Yeah, perfect. We'll make sure we strip search you on the way out.
Please.
No, but in all seriousness, I really, really admire you, and I mean this sincerely, because you've been in Ndola for many years, and I know for a fact that you're one of those people who says things as they are, and also one of those people who I've seen actually, regardless of title or position, people know that you're obviously aspiring to campaign for the future position of mayor here in Ndola, correct?
Yes, I do.
But I've seen you actually doing things, keeping Ndola clean, planting trees and things like that. So I really want to dive in and get people to know you first, maybe the person behind that action. And then we can discuss how you think it could translate once you get onto power, if God willing, obviously. Okay, great. So maybe just for the audience who don't know you, could you maybe share with us a little bit about who you are? Who would be your, your childhood? Where were you born? Why Ndola? I've got some selfish interest here, but I really want to know who you are and why you are the person that you are here.
Full names. Wilson Kango. Many people, I've got a few people who call me Mwila. I'm Bembalala by tribe, okay? We're not bringing tribalism, but we have to state where we
origins,
are. Origins, I was actually born in Choma. That's where my parents were doing business. They were into farming.
Okay.
We're talking about, there were tobacco farmers, and they were also doing animal husbandry. So we are that family that came from the farm. And beyond the farms, they also had a good setup of under one building, a bar, tavern, butchery.
Oh, wow.
And behind that building, a few people identify me in Choma. Behind that butchery, they equally had a market, which I was in charge of collecting levies and everything, because my father deliberately made sure that, young as I was the one who was in charge of collecting the levies.
Wow.
He would wait for me to come back from school, and I'll be the one collecting the levies for the market. Yeah.
How old were you then?
I was pretty young, because my dad actually died when I was about in grade 6.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. And I was pretty young, but I was given all those responsibilities.
So you say about 5 years old, 6 years old?
5 years old, 6
That's
years.
Great.
I really knew what I needed to do. I knew what my responsibilities were. Yeah, they were soft and tough at the same time. That's the kind of family that I come from.
Wow.
Yeah.
I did not know you were born in Choma.
No, I was born in Choma, and this is why I laugh every time, our country is getting dissected on the element of tribalism and everything. But look, these are elements which are driven by a sect of people, because look at me. My grandparent, actually, who started all that business, left Mufurila, where he was quite prominent and very influential in the starting up of Mufurila Wanderers. You go to the clubhouse and still find a portrait of Wilson Kango, the man that I'm named after. So we had a very strong soccer background. Trust me, there's nowhere where I went without, a weekend would never pass without going to watch a game. Yeah, so my love for soccer actually got affected when my parents died, because it's one thing that really brought us together. Would know that, this weekend maybe we're going to Livingstone, this Royal Angels is playing in that area. I had all those privileges, and my friends actually knew that if you want to watch a game, weekend they'll be around me, because the way my father taught me is that even when we were going to the stadium, if I'm not going to go with him, supposedly I'm coming with you, he will never give me the money to go pay for the tickets. He would give it to my friend.
Wow.
That I never minded, but only after growing up did I learn the lesson behind that. He's the man who taught me a lot about sharing and not being possessive. Everything that we do that would come in contact, maybe monetary reform, I would never be the one to handle. He'll be more like, Mwalashitama ticket, he'll give my friend, or you are going to buy food, such kind of things. It really felt normal. I never saw anything, and I guess that has influenced my character in a lot of ways.
That's interesting. I definitely want to ask a question about that, but before I do, we usually love to offer our guests some coffee. So would you like some coffee for
I
our journey?
I was about to call you when I was invited for this interview. Could you please keep some tea for me as well?
I know.
Look, we have got no option.
No.
When you go to Rome, do what Romans do.
Exactly. We're converting the whole of Zambia to be a coffee nation. That's my goal.
Is there a particular brand you are promoting, or what is it with you and coffee?
Well, I think when I come to your show to interview, I'll do that. But there is a brand, but we'll get to that when the time comes.
Knowing you, Aaron, maybe let me just say you have got a small field at the farm where you planted coffee.
That is true. That is true. So I'll for you some.
Yeah, sure.
Out of choice, but I think you'll love it.
No, I don't mind coffee, but my first preference is tea.
How do you take it usually, with milk or?
Like I have told you, I come from a farm setup before, so milk was usually there.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. You can let me know how it tastes. I'm going to put everything else in.
And one of the reasons we came from the village was actually for the sugar. So
for the sugar?
Yeah.
That's it. We put the tea in the sugar, not the sugar in the tea. Yeah, no problem.
No, thank you.
No, you're most welcome. I hope you enjoy it. And we'll bring you a tea on the next one, because I already know there's so many questions to ask, and I feel like we'll probably get you on the show a couple of times just to get through the rest of it. So connected to your dad, because I'm always interested in people who, mold us and make an influence on us, because I think, depending on whether you're going into political positions like you are, or business or parenting, the nurture component really plays a big part. So you talked about your father. So what would you say were some of the aspects beyond the interest of sharing, or where do you think he got that from? Like, I'm now surveying our country, and the way I see even some of us are parenting, there's a lot of me culture coming in, and maybe that's because of social media or whatever. But from your opinion, who are these key people that helped you, and what were the lessons that you learned, including your father?
To start with, I think you and I growing up, we're in the same age range. I think parentage was never left to one person. We were a community project.
True.
Okay? So, my father, my mother really had a strong hand on my character, because, look, there was no time when you would wake up. The moment you are thinking of waking up, you are stepping your foot on the floor, you have to be thinking about making your bed.
True.
Okay? The moment you finish doing that, and by the way, out of the three, I'm the last. And I'm the only one who got whipped by my parents.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so...
Why is that? Is it because you're the most misbehaved or
I just
charismatic? Or
feel I had character. Character I had right from the beginning. So for me, it wasn't a question of, oh, come on, Stefio. I would question why I have to do it. And you know, parents back in the days, they would never want to get questioned about why should I be doing this. Okay, so naturally, I came with that character where I would not just take anything. You can't bring anything to me and I'll take it like, oh, okay. From childhood, I was like that. So one of the things that we were equally taught, I was in charge of gardening. Okay? You wake up, you finish whatever you are doing. Mom would always be up by 5, making sure the house is clean and everything. My brother and my sister would be inside. I'll be the one outside, making sure that the garden is watered and all that kind of stuff. That was me.
Wow.
Yeah, so I actually appreciate the kind of life that they gave us. And when it came to holidays, it came maybe December holiday, it was a must. We would not even go by the farm. We were sent by my grandparents' place. Okay? My grandparents lived in Kafue, and they had a farm equally there. Only they were not staying at the farm. It was quite a distance. We would start off at 4:30, sometimes 5, to go to the farm. Trust me, no one was spared. Okay? So every holiday we would go. It became a culture. All my cousins from mom's side would be there. So it gave us a very good breed of bonding. We were all just as one, you know. Cousins, everyone, they like aunties and all would all meet there to help. And when the youth came, trust me, it was another big youth. So that character that you see as of today really just comes from that end. And talking about my mom as well, she was a very strong, enterprising woman. But knowing the character that I was, because I was somewhat a no-nonsense guy, even at a tender age. You know, when somebody comes to play around with my toys, you break it, you face the consequences of it. So even when mom would be coming here to the Copper Belt, because the brother and sister used to be here, and then that period when people really never knew much about Salaula, my mom started, she was in that trade. They would get their, they call them balo, with bell in short. So they were being gotten from the Copper Belt. The supply was coming from Congo. So we would often come here with my mom, she would collect. She would never leave me behind because of the fear of the trouble that I would cause back home, you know. I was that last born who they would always keep in the bag.
Yeah.
So I think my traits to trading and all that is a culture which was embedded in me by what was in front of me, that which I'll see every day. The discipline in wanting to keep a clean environment and looking out for myself, I think I can also explain it from that element.
No, it definitely shows, and I've known you over the years to be, I think, as I said, straightforward, talking, and you know, your standards are your standards, and I think it also shows in some of the excellence of your work, and that's been really great. So how do you think that background prepared you for public office? Because this is your second time to stand?
Yeah.
So how do you think that kind of influenced you with heading in that direction of saying, I want to take a role in, you know, influencing the city, and where do you think that affects you?
For some time I have identified myself, first of all, to begin with. I was at Northrise University. After Northrise University, or prior to Northrise University, I was at Zibic. Okay. Zibic, I went on to, in between, before I could actually go to Northrise University, I did a bit of public administration.
I see.
Because I've always had interest in local governance. So for me, I have already identified myself where I belong, okay? I could run for any other position, but I just feel like local governance is my thing. And for most of the problems, the challenges that we face are actually at local government level before we can think about anything else, okay?
Agreed.
So local government for me is a service delivery entity. You know, the council is in business and I've got a strong business mind, because with business you have to feed it with your capital, then you generate income out of it. No business happens if you are not going to use money. So hence you find that the council is charging us for all the rates that the market charges and all that, and I feel I have identified well with that, you know. I love a clean and green environment, okay? Culturing from my childhood, where I come from a from a background which is farming in nature, where I was actually given responsibilities to maintain the yard, you know. So I have always said this is a field that I can do better, because I feel a mindset has to be influenced. The way humanity is, without any rules, laws, or anything, people are ready to do anything. Sure. They can, before you know it, anybody can even come and put a building in the middle of the tarmac.
Yeah, in fact, it happens.
I am that person who says, okay guys, can we just do everything by the book? And I love doing everything, things by the book. Yeah.
Behind the title, behind the prestige, they're hiding secrets, struggles, and stories untold. Meet the faces you know, but what about the people behind the masks? Who are they? Off the record.
For me to have food, it was a problem.
I was out of school for a year. I went to do some piecework, very long piecework.
My career didn't start all rosy. Of course, started on a faster note at some point.
I've never drank in my life. I tried once and I was a bit noisy.
Yeah.
So I decided,
the end of it.
Yeah, I decided, no, I'm not going to drink.
Yeah.
I'm one of those few that after completing grade 4, I only stayed for 5 months and I was already in tertiary education.
The question came and I said I want to be president. I was laughed at.
I just wanted people to understand the implications or the things that happen when one is about to have a stroke.
And I want to confess that at one given time, I nearly crucified myself.
The journey, the struggles, the triumphs, it's time to get real. From the operating room to the boardroom, from the podium to the pulpit, we're going off the record. Unfiltered, unscripted, unforgettable. So maybe just to hone in a little bit more to understand the concepts you're sharing about localized levels of influence or impact, plus local council being a business. Could you maybe share some of the 3 top challenges that you might see or think need addressing in Ndola at the moment?
My top priority is accountability.
What do you mean by that?
Look, accountability comes in at so many levels. Personal level, what kind of a leader are you choosing, okay, to go and represent you? This is why for every problem that we are facing as a city, even the people themselves are held accountable for the bad leaders that they have sent in that house to go and represent them. Then, secondly, lack of civic education. That falls back to accountability. Are you accountable enough to realize that the people that you are sending, do you know why you are sending them? What are they going to do? Or are you just merely giving them jobs so that they can be paid? So both the electorate and the leaders we are sending need to be held accountable. As in for now, we are under an election season. Are you participating as Mr. Mashano? Do you even identify with what councillor you are sending to the council? And what are you sending them for? So that is the basic of accountability. Do you know how much your council, how much revenue they are collecting, and what percentage of that revenue are they fueling back into the community? Fueling back in the community to make sure that the facilities, we are talking about the markets, do they have lighting? Do they have toilets? Do they have shelter? How's the drainage system? How's the garbage collection done?
I was about to say, my favorite topic.
Okay, yeah. So you realize why I talk about accountability.
Sure.
Okay? So the council in itself, Mr. Mashano, I'll tell you one truth. If we define the council, it's made up actually of those people that you got sent to represent you. And do you also know that a councillor is supposed to be producing quarterly reports for your ward to know where and how far that you have gone, what progress you have made. But half the time, we have got people telling us that we had a full council meeting, yet you, the electorate on the ground, are not consulted on anything. So when a councillor goes to that council, they're going to make decisions based on their ignorance without you people actually approving of what they're talking about. A council is just a small parliament. The way you look at parliament, bring it at a local level. No wonder it's called a local government. Okay? So when the council sits, when they finish their deliberations, that's why we have got technocrats who are spearheaded by a town clerk. So whatever that those people blah, 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 blah in that council, now it will be turned into policy by the engineers, by whoever sits there, accountants, and they'll look at the budget and say, how much have we generated? How much does this ward need? Okay? In that event, when we have deliberated as a council to say, oh, we want to see street lights, we want to see a market there, we want, because another duty of the council is actually plotting, which I'll come to designate where such, whatever business will be at, okay? So your councillors will come together and say, oh, maybe in Kaloko we need a clinic, we need a market, we need a school. Identify the land, and then they come back to the TC, who's going to form, with his team, they're going to form it into policy and allocate funds and all that. Okay. So I'm only telling you what kind of a mayor I'll make, because I'll understand the duties of my councillors, not councillors who will come to the council without no prior knowledge of what they ought to do.
That makes sense. So I heard from you, if I understood you correctly, there's accountability. There's, I'll call it awareness or being informed.
Yes.
And this is us, the citizens or civilians or residents, and also the people in power and who are acting. Sure. What's the third one? Third challenge?
The third challenge is service delivery.
Okay.
You realize, you know, as we choose, not only on a political level, any leadership that you're going to choose, we need to be careful. Are they able to deliver? Half the time we have the resources, but the mentality to deliver is the challenge. Okay? Like right now, you realize I always cite Kabushi for my example, because in Kabushi, one time I visited Kabushi. I know it's happening everywhere else, and you people have been seeing me talking about it. Garbage collection has been one of the challenges, okay, in our town, okay? And many other towns in Zambia, really. I won't just confine it to Zambia, I mean to Ndola. Kabushi, a situation whereby there's a market here. Opposite, there's a clinic where people are being admitted. And there's a pile of garbage not collected. And not far from there, you realize that there are two tippers belonging to the constituents under CDF, under the council. Two tippers and two front-end loaders. And you've got garbage sitting opposite the clinic and the market. So the challenge that we have had is not actually lack of resources. It's actually lack of leadership. Okay? And when we talk about leadership, I'm going to talk about resourceful leadership. Because somebody will come to me and tell me that, what if they don't have fuel? Okay, a leader is supposed to be resourceful. Okay? How did I generate my capital for what I do? I don't have parents. How did I take myself to school? I don't have parents. Because no uncle of mine, after my late uncle died and before I could even go to college, no one can come and claim that I took you to school. I did that all by myself. That is a leadership all by itself.
Yeah.
Okay, so we need to learn to be resourceful as leaders. How do you engage with the community? How do you engage with the stakeholders? So the problem that we have had in Zambia for the longest time is actually lack of leadership, not lack of resources, because the resources we have. Okay?
That's very interesting. You mentioned about 3 things there that I think, let me phrase it as a question so you can answer, because you've been on the ground longer. Do you think the average, let's talk about Ndola, I know it's happening everywhere, but Ndola city residents are aware that these are the reasons why, let's use your Kabushi example, that, you know, the council exists to, 1, be responsible for that issue, and 2, they're supposed to be reporting back. I love this aspect you mentioned on the performance of those constituencies. Do you think people are aware of that? And 2, where do they get that information if this particular person who's been appointed, who lacks the leadership or lacks the awareness, or both, where do they get that information and then try and rally to get those things appraised, or you know, accountability back to that point?
Look, first of all, if we are going to define the council as a local government, so a small government will have a department of roads, engineering, health, okay?
Yeah.
All those are factored in, okay? I could mention parks and gardens, okay? But tell me one single park which is being maintained in Ndola and you're happy and it's being maintained by your council.
I was going to say, if you said private, I'll mention a few, but council,
no, public.
No, none.
None. Okay, good. But do you actually know that there are people in those offices being paid? So if we talk about lack of resources, I'll bring you back to what I said. It's a lie. Because you have got misplaced resources paying people who are not actually performing. You understand? Now, tell me, this is a service providing entity.
Like a business.
Do you know any number for the council that you can call off your head, suppose your services are not being given?
None.
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 You understand? This is why we are saying, we are not going to reinvent the wheel. No. Those things are already there, but it's lack of leadership. And the leaders have prided on the ignorance of people. Okay? This is why, answering your question, we need to come back to civic awareness. Okay? People of Ndola need to know why they are choosing that councillor. What is the purpose? Who's a go between them and the council to say the development that they need? Today we have got councillors who identify that in Chichele ward there's a piece of land. They'll sell it. It is not the duty of the councillor to
sell the plots.
No. Report that there is a piece of land in this area which we have identified as a community. Report it to the council under your minutes. Show me 20 signatures that people were there, that were present. Then the council will say, okay, what kind of development do we need in this area? Then we give it to the technocrats to plan. There we'll have a market, there we'll have a school. Because in any development, when you're planning a public place, you need to think of a school. You need to think about a hospital or a clinic. Okay? Very important. You need to think about a market. Okay? A market is not only for the convenience of the people. We are talking about the local generation. How are we going to grow our town? And what kind of businesses are we going to put at this market? Who are we going to allow? It's not by coincidence that Luna TV is actually here. In any instance, inspectors should have been on the ground to check, or is it convenient for our place, for this TV station to be here? Okay? Because you people don't need noise. You don't need all that. But you realize that because of lack of knowledge or information, these people will approve your license against a place which is next to a bar.
Yeah.
How do you operate like that?
In fact, I think that's already happening here.
Unfortunately.
And approved on the aftermath. That's another conversation.
This is why you, for lack of civic education, you people could actually write to the council to dispel that, to say, look, our kind of business which we are running here does not need noise. There's a school nearby. Okay? Then how do you have a club next door when you are recording? How much more noise will you need to filter? The council has got all those duties to identify, filter in.
Wow. And like you said, there are people already employed in these positions.
They're there.
Who I'm assuming would have had pre-existing qualifications to be
Aaron, I'll tell you one thing. Education is not a degree that you hold. Education is application of knowledge. How do you understand the situation? Do our engineers actually understand the situation, what they are doing, what license they are approving, what will be the effect on the people? Not only environmental, but human development. Because we're actually here to seek leadership for human development.
Sure.
You understand?
Sure.
For me, you cannot talk about development when the person that you are hoping to empower is impoverished. We are talking about so many other roads that we are doing, how many kilometers? But do people have jobs to enjoy the facilities that you are making?
I hear you. So let's do this. Let me, for the sake of the audience, help us roll up the sleeves and, because we're all vying for people like you who are more aware. But I think to help it digestible for the audience, do you have like a 10-point, 5-point plan for Ndola, say if you were elected and got into power or position? What would be those things that you address? Because you're touching on a lot of connected parts, and I, for myself, as you know, my industry, I won't mention it too much, I know I can only move to the extent of my environment sometimes, right? And there's so many places I have to get involved in that are not part of my core business. So would you maybe, when you are in that position, what would be those 10 things you think you can address at the core that we can all take away from this interview that you feel will make that impact during your stay and after?
The plan is there. The plan, we see it every day. Okay. The plan is the challenges that we see. You know, because I am one of those who has really advocated for my town. And I only speak to things that I relate with. Okay? One, how I equate the town, Aaron, a town is more or less like a very beautiful woman. You know, a beautiful woman doesn't suffer a lot. And not only beautiful, but one who keeps herself clean. Because the car will be passing and they'll be like, tamlefa ko lift. Even when she hasn't asked you, you want to give her money for talk time. Okay? Now, if we have got a dirty town, like Ndola, it used to be one of the cleanest towns.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? People respect you for coming from Ndola, just barely coming from Ndola.
Yeah.
Okay?
Even foreigners. By foreign standards, this is for sure.
Okay. So, a clean and green Ndola will give us the status that we need. Because it begins from there. When you are healthy, you can do anything. But our town is ailing. How do you attract an investor in a town which is looking already dilapidated, like you're coming from war? It's not possible. And one of those, it's all the duty of the council. We are talking about parks and gardens. Okay? Beyond that, businesses, for them to operate, they need a license. So how are we going to issue a license when the building hasn't been fully inspected, that it is painted, is habitable to humans?
And yet they'll charge you premium for the licenses.
Yeah. So for me, no business in my tenure. Just know that there is no business that will run in Ndola without inspecting. And you know what? As I talk about revenue collection, expanding the base, that is where our council is actually lacking, because we have got more inspectors to inspect your buildings to make sure that, oh, is it habitable? Because it's good not only for the council, it's good for the people who are working in that building to be safe and feel even a sense of pride. We're in the media era. I mean, I'm happy to be in here because I can take a selfie and post it without my people out there, that won't happen because the place is clean. So let everybody emulate that. We need to give our Ndola people a sense of ownership. They need to feel like I own, I belong, I'm coming from Ndola. The pride, we need to restore that pride of the Ndola people.
Yeah.
And I am good for that.
So clean and green. What else?
Clean and green. Accountability, which we already touched.
Yep.
Okay. Secondly, we are coming, does garbage collection fall under the clean and green?
For me, it doesn't, so please go ahead. Let's elaborate.
I did elaborate on the garbage collection, and we're talking about the scenario of Kabushi. Aaron, you are not a conventional man. That's one thing I love about you. Not to chaff you because you're here and so you're my friend.
I'm getting your jacket afterwards, so this is all good for me.
No, I've got one, which is the one you claimed earlier on.
2 years ago. Okay, we'll get to that.
Yeah, so
off the record. Yeah.
Yeah, look. How do we handle? Why should we be collecting garbage on a weekly basis? Okay? No, it shouldn't be that case. Garbage has to be collected every day because it's being generated every day. The longer we keep it, we're keeping bacteria and we're keeping a very unhealthy Ndola. But beyond collecting that garbage, we're in a generation where recycling is money and you're making money off it. Okay? Now, beyond you just getting that garbage, how do we make sure, as a government, as a local government, how do we empower you? How do we make sure that you, Mr. Mashano, you can filter in more people, okay, into the business, train others? The element of CDF has got grants, has got anything. So let's identify the people who are already in the industry. How can we help and push this person?
People with capacity already, yeah.
Look, I remember one time Ndola was declared a tax-free zone. That was in around 2004, 2005, that era. Because beyond that, Ndola was completely dead. So if I were to look at my town right now, there are certain places of this town that needs to be looked at and given the benefit of tax-free zone. As a council, let us identify where are we getting more of our revenue, okay? Ndola town itself, the central business district, is only between Buteko and President Avenue, and not the entire President Avenue, not the entire Buteko. What is happening in Macaulay Road? Buildings are closed. Downtown buildings are closed.
Railway area.
Okay. So what are we looking at? As a council, we should come up with a plan to say, okay, even if the buildings are closed, the council is still demanding rates on those buildings and higher rates. Okay? So before you know it, if we were to effect an enforcement, probably some of the rates which have been accumulated by the owners of the building, you realize that even they have surpassed the price of those buildings. So we'll say, okay, can we reduce the rates for these areas which are dormant? You understand? When we reduce the rates, we'll go down and say, can we engage ZRA? what businesses can qualify to be tax-free zone in these areas. Not all businesses, but carefully studying the environment. Let's say if we take a shop right that side, or we take maybe, I'm just citing an example. What you'll be doing in the event is that we are going to attract more people to say, oh, I'll make profits that side, let me go there. In the event, that company is going to employ people. We are lessening the unemployment rate in our town. And we are growing the town beyond.
The world runs on us. At Metro, we understand that life doesn't stop for anyone. That's why we provide quality fuel needed to keep your day running. With our convenient locations and reliable service, you can trust us to keep you moving. So come to Metro Filling Station and let us run your world.
There's so many more I want to touch on, but in the interest of time, there's something you mentioned earlier before the recording that I thought was really interesting, was connected to the same allocations is, do you think local government, or in your case, if you can influence them, can take a more customized approach? Because there's a lot of cookie cut policies that maybe worked for us in the parastatal days or before, like you said, in the tax-free zone, but how much responsibility is being taken? Because I'm a local person here, and I know there's, as you said, more people trying to get fees from businesses, but half the time some of that money is going into their pockets. This is the reality. So how do you feel in your case, maybe being an independent, is that going to somehow help you to try and change the status quo? Because even the garbage collection we talked about earlier, there's certain things that a business person cannot do because there's already an establishment of people that just do things in a way that, let's just say, may be counterproductive to the result of daily pickups, weekly pickups, etc. So there are just all these pockets of existing establishments that maybe are gatekeepers, if that's the right word. So how would you, as an independent person, or do you think being an independent in your candidacy can help you make these changes?
Look, I'm coming with a different mindset. Okay, I'm coming with a different mindset. Fully aware, I have done my background check.
Okay.
There are cartels running our council. There are cartels running our political parties.
Okay.
I have chosen to be independent, and I equally get a fight for being independent. The council has got its own budget. Okay, it doesn't mean that I need to belong to a political party to do things. The council actually has its own budget.
Okay.
Okay, you realize that Ndola people, I'll tell you one truth. Why I haven't gone the political way, because I don't want to be part of certain cartels, okay, who choose leaders and give you leaders that you do not deserve. I'm here to make you realize that you can choose your own leaders. Because at the end of the day, service delivery is service delivery. The government owes it to the people. Okay? Look at what happened. I'll cite an example. Everybody remembers that at one moment, Ndola Wanderers was actually corruptly sold, because I've got the evidence, I can talk on that. If not for the petition that I stood in front of with the Ndola people,
I remember that.
That place would have been a filling station by now. We collected all the evidence, gave it to Anti-Corruption Commission. It's up to them to do their work. But I know that place was sold. There were a lot of irregularities, and we're speaking to the cartels that are at the council. So, look, I'll come back to you people like in the garbage collection. That's a franchise. That is the duty of the council that has said, okay, maybe we cannot manage for now, let's give it to the people. So let's see who's getting the franchise, who's not doing the work, who's not giving. Can there be equal opportunities for everyone to participate in the business? Okay? That is my view. We are coming in to break those cartels and give the equal distribution of business to everyone. because the council is in business and service has to be delivered. So let's suppose I hold a license. I'll still cite garbage collection. I hold a license, I'm registered with the council. I don't even have tracks. But simply because I'm holding on to that license, I'll have to bring you as Aaron Mashano under my license. And you are not coming in for free. You have to cut part of that money, to say thank you. Why can't you go directly to the council? My leadership is one that will protect the locals for people to get equal opportunity. Why do we need other billboard players to come and plant their billboards when we already have enough and we already have a problem with the ones that we have? So, part of the leadership is to sit down with the stakeholders and control them to say, what can we do here? How can we make it right? What would be wrong with sitting down with Gary Rutherford to tell him to say, okay, here maybe we need to go digital for ABCD. We are giving you so much time to go digital because our town, ABCD. Because everything digital and steel have got their own advantages. We cannot complain about just having steel.
One or the other.
One or the other. Yeah. So definitely we are fully aware of the cartels that are there. And that is one thing that we intend to dismantle.
So what I'm gathering from you is that being an independent can give you that autonomy to I guess, call things as they are.
Trust
and try
me.
and make those
At that particular moment, we are here for the people, not for the political party or whoever funds a political party. Okay? I'm trying all the best with my resources to make sure that we put the record straight. I don't want to be compromised. At the time when they were selling culture center, I stood in front. Don't think that there was no approach at about midnight for somebody to question me to say, forget about it. Here's like a 200 underground. No, that was. But I'm coming with a strong mind to say, well, if it's the highlights that you want me to have, I'll have it through my own. Being in leadership, we actually risk our lives because we are fighting certain cartels. You understand? This is why I keep telling people sometimes we do not want to be, it's not a secret of certain things. It's not a secret about family. It's not a secret. Let me not endanger people. See me, this is who I am. And this is why they say when you are fighting a giant, you both better run to the river because everybody will be fighting for survival. People will tell me, no, Kango, you like talking too much, you like posting things on social media. But if you people know that I have got information and I put it out there because I know it's verified information, anything that will happen to me, you'll be suspicious, you'll be already linking the dots. Because what we are doing, trust me, it's not an easy play. We are stepping on what people invested, but they only invested it in a corrupt way. And we are saying, if we have to change the narrative, we have to address the element of corruption, be it at land level, be it at plot allocation, be it at administrative level. We need to know who's eating and who's not giving the service to the people. That is what leadership is all about.
No, I love that. And I think we can dive into those, but I think you've highlighted them anyway. The accountability part, the manifesto on trying to partner up with certain governments or civil services and places like that. The unemployment, I think we covered even us as business people, but also the opportunity of encouraging tax-free areas and strategies like that to stimulate business growth here because we are the employers.
Yeah, sure.
In a lot of cases. So I really love that. It's just out of interest of time, there's just one more question maybe to try and sum up what maybe success looks like. So say I teleport you 5 years from now and you've done the work, you've been appointed, you've managed to move the needle in the area of these 3 areas you want to solve, plus more. What does a vision in Mr. Kango's mind look like of when Ndola City is where it should be? What would that look like? 5 years from now, after your tenure?
5 years from now, we are talking a lot about, let's first of all consider much more human development. Is everybody in Ndola going to be happy to say we are at a place where we ought to be, and certain changes will be taken that will affect people positively and negatively? Those who will be affected negatively are those who are unwilling to work or do things the straight way. We are talking about facilities which will be bettered. We are talking, look, I come from a skills background, despite my attempt into being an academician and everything. Other people will call us cameraman, but do you know behind that camera how much money is coming from? Look, Ndola can only develop when everyone has got something to do, and we will not all be filtered into mainstream government, being a teacher, being an accountant,
Police.
being a doctor, or being a lawyer. No.
Sure.
Because a lawyer needs services. A lawyer needs a carpenter. A lawyer needs a plumber. Okay?
So you're referring to trades in this case?
We are going to have the council itself. You can imagine, one of the challenges that we have is bad road networks in Ndola. And we have gone past just looking at asphalt as a way of making our roads. So why doesn't the council own its own paving machine and like buying pavers from people? So we are going to generate income by making sure that if we're going to pick a group of young men, we secure them with our pavers from the council, which are to standard, and they're going to put them. What are we doing? We are creating employment.
Sure.
Okay? So we are looking to a clean and green Ndola. Our town has been turned into a trucking town now. That is our economic driver currently. Okay? So how do we mesh all this? Because every trucker, why you are even seeing more trucks coming to the southern region, a part of Zambia, it's because a SADC truck can only cross 3 borders and can't go beyond. So Zambia sits in the middle, or maybe in 3 borders across, going east, going south, going north. So it has become Ndola actually has become a preferred destination point. So how do we now look at all those?
Capitalize on
that. Okay? I believe that is a topic for another day. But we need to look at the industry. How much is it bringing? Where can we put them? How can our young men benefit? And don't forget that we have got a local content bill. So at what point do we make sure that the indigenous Zambian is getting that business? They need to be protected, and we'll have a hand in there. Yeah.
No, that's really inspiring. I love that. So last question, because I know you as well on a personal level, but just for the audience maybe to get a sense of the fire behind the belly there, how would you like to be remembered when your time is done? You've done everything you think you could. What maybe are the 3 words, takeaways, aspects? What are the things that you would like people to remember you for?
It's not something that I plan. But if my actions are enough to change a life, that would be very much important. Humanity comes primarily. I want to look at a person despite of their social status as a brother, and if I can do something about their situation. Sometimes people don't actually even need money. They just need a connection. Not everybody is privileged to talk to Aaron. They are afraid of talking to Aaron. But if I may go in between, oh, Aaron, this person wants to talk to you about this and that. I stand in ready to promote each and every person, because, I mean, all we need is just a simple connection, a simple word to connect the dots, and life will happen. Just a little push. We do not have the equal courage. I equate life to a leader. For me, I describe them often, maybe let me just trace back a bit. Oftentimes when you greet me, I always refer to pushing and pulling.
Yes, I remember.
So as a leader, you stand in between. Some people are like wheelbarrows. You need to push them. Some people are like a cart, an ox cart. You need to drag them. We stand in between to look forward and to look back. Sometimes you have to run forward. So if we can come together in love, overlook the mistakes of the past and carry on, connect humanity, then we have got a town that we are going to be proud of.
I love that. And I definitely got the pushing and pulling from you. Well, I think that brings us to the end of the show. Mr. Kango, Wilson, thank you so much for having us and being on the show with us. And I definitely have become, I would say, one of the things I love about when we get together, you're always leaving me, and I think I'll speak for the audience, with a couple of nuggets that help us become more aware of our service and civic responsibilities. And I think as Zambians, maybe we spend a lot of time blaming people who are giving the courage to stand up, because I think if you put us all in a line, some of us are too scared because of these repercussions. So I wanted to acknowledge you in public, and also I do that in private to say you're definitely one of those very courageous leaders, and definitely wish you all the best, because also for us, we must do our part to come and be more civically aware. And I think we should do that after this show. So I really appreciate you for your time. Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'll still continue complimenting your studio. It's a beautiful studio. Please make sure that you search me as I head out.
Actually, one more thing. How do people reach you on social media?
Social
handles?
media.
What do you have for us?
Wilson Kango.
Okay.
Yeah, on Facebook, you'll find me. My number is very public. It's even on my socials.
Yep.
0977 29 1000. I don't hide. I love to interact with people. Please feel free. It's only through interaction that we'll get to know what's happening.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Open communication if you want to develop.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
So there you have it, guys. Wilson Kango, independent candidate standing for Ndola City as mayor. And hopefully you can support him as well and find him on his social to ask him more about his mandate. Thank you very much. And thanks for having us, guys. That's all from us.